They're getting drunk. They're getting drunk. They're a bunch of idiots getting drunk, talking about conspiracy theories. There's really not much more to it than that. You're listening to Drunk Theory.
Here we are with another episode of Drunk Theory. Today's episode about music and bullshit. My name is Ryan. To the left of me,
Kara.
I don't know why she laughed.
Because I was waiting on you to point. Because I didn't know which way was
FYI, we are literally 2 feet away from each other.
But there's also somebody on the other side. I wasn't sure.
But not to the
To the left of me is only Kara. There is no other direction that is another direction. So, to the left of me is...
No, there are other directions.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Kelly.
But not left. There's not another left in here.
We are drinking Rockin' Rye. It has 2 ounces rye whiskey, 1/2 ounce orange juice, 1/6 ounce lemon juice, 1/4 ounce maraschino syrup, 1/4 ounce simple syrup. It has an orange twist and also a squeeze of lemon. So there's a lot going on here, and it is yummy and delicious and wonderful.
That was alright.
It's good shit.
Yeah. I'm sticking with the usual Paloma with about 3 times more tequila than the recipe calls for.
My palomas are better than Matt's palomas.
No,
I think y'all need to duke it out on TikTok and figure that out.
I like mine to
Well, I
taste.
already posted my paloma video. Let him post one.
I like mine to taste like straight tequila with a little bit of
Just
flavor.
that
in it.
aftertaste of
My shit is all
Yeah.
grapefruit soda.
Yeah.
my shit's all fancy and salt rimmed and wonderful.
We're lazy.
I don't-
drunks,
I prefer
so.
my tequila and vodka and shit to taste like bourbon. So, you know.
I mean, I'm not gonna salt rim a solo cup, so
I actually would.
I will.
This
But that's not actually the way I served it in the TikTok. But it's in a rocks glass, I think.
Who's going first? Kelly?
I'm going first. So I have, for music conspiracies, I have celebrity imposters. So we're talking about the clones, the dopplegangers, the body doubles, those things. And so I've kind of arranged mine into little short snippets of different folks. And I started with Paul McCartney, and I know we've kind of talked about Paul McCartney a little bit before, but we didn't have as much kind of detail. So I wanted to bring this one back up. So the thing with Paul McCartney, the conspiracy is that he died in a car accident in 1966. And the Beatles were so worried that about their careers that they're like, oh shit, we got to replace this dude, right?
I already have a question, which I know, we haven't talked about it before, and I knew it was a car wreck thing. Is there a car wreck that happened at some time that
Probably
people
not.
are like...
Probably not, because that's kind of a common thing with all of these. It's just like, they just kind of make shit up,
I didn't
So
know if there had been a big
I would
fiery
say
wreck.
probably not. But I don't know that for a fact.
How hard would it be to pay some police in the early 60s to cover up a wreck when you're the Beatles and have hundreds and thousands of
Well,
dollars?
no, I'm not saying. I'm saying, was there something on... Like, why did
they
they
wouldn't
immediately
report
go
it.
to he
A
died
wreck.
in that car
In a
wreck?
wreck, right. Yeah.
Was there a big wreck? Like, why would you just wake up one day and go, that guy died in a car wreck? Well, was there a car wreck yesterday? No. Not that I know of.
Well,
And then, like...
there are even more weird than that would be even harder to prove that people have just, like, pulled out of their ass. Like, a car wreck is pretty mild.
yeah.
But they're
Because
like,
I mean,
there are a lot of car wrecks, but...
there are a lot of car wrecks, and you could, you're the Beatles, the biggest band on earth at the time. I'm sure you could pay the cops and be like, just throw a John Doe off in this thing and call it done,
But the story is that, they were all so worried about their careers, they're like, we got to do some shit. So, supposedly, they replaced him with a lookalike named Billy Shears.
Isn't it a guy that won a contest or something, right?
Who apparently was an orphan who won a Paul McCartney lookalike contest at some point. And since he was an orphan, there was no family, that nobody to say Billy Shears disappeared, and, or nobody to say that person is Paul McCartney. So the thing with all of kind of the subliminal messages and, you know, kind of the things in the art and all that, people say that the Beatles felt so guilty about what they had done that they, you know, it kind of just came through in their music and in their art. And, you know, at some point they were, you know, just like, we need to tell somebody, but we can't tell anybody, so we're just going to put it out there, you know, in this way. So, kind of, that's the whole thing with Paul McCartney. And, I don't know, do y'all want to stop after each one and say if you think Paul McCartney is real or not?
I think Paul McCartney is real.
Like, is he the, like, original Paul McCartney from, you know, back in the day?
I don't know.
We went to that show, and I don't give a shit if he's the same Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing.
But
Was it not?
now, when did they spend? What albums or what big hits did they have with the original one?
Before.
When did they replace him? What albums have him replaced? Because that's the guy that I like anyway. Like Abbey Road, those are the ones I like, and that's the fake one, right?
Yeah,
I like
so
him. Who
1966, so anything before 1966, which honestly I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking up right now.
Oh, Ryan's got us.
Because I don't give a shit. I don't care who it is either. That's who I like. So.
Right. It was so good. Paul McCartney is good live. But Ryan's about to hit us up with some information.
I'm just trying to find a list of
Yeah, I just
records
need
to find
name
out
of a couple
when.
songs. Or
Yeah.
What about Sgt. Pepper's? Was that before or after?
After, because there's a whole thing
So
on the
that's
cover.
also fake
So
Paul
Sgt.
McCartney.
Pepper's album cover supposedly has all
'cause that's that
kinds
weirdo
of like
shit.
stuff on it. Yeah.
Also, Abbey Road, the license plate of
All
the
right.
car in the background.
What year is he supposedly replaced?
1966.
All right. Please Please Me with the Beatles. A Hard Day's Night.
I like that one.
Beatles for Sale. Help.
Shit.
And Rubber Soul all came out before. Revolver was 66, so it could have possibly
And
been
Help
him or
must have
not.
been their big one,
But
'cause-
I think Revolver came out before, and the very next one is Sgt. Pepper's, and
Yeah.
that's the one with the fucked up cover and everything
Yeah.
is different. It's all weird. Right after that, the Magical Mystery Tour,
Oh, yeah.
then the White Album.
But it could also be explained by they were, like, suddenly on drugs. Because it went kind of...
Yeah.
You know, it was like... They were kind of clean here, and then, like, they were, like, tripping all the fucking time.
I'm not going to put it past them. I mean, but I don't think that it would have been up to the Beatles. It would have been up to the record label people, right?
Probably. I would...
Because, like, if we worked for a podcast label and you died, we wouldn't get to say, replace her with that girl.
Yeah.
Like, they would have to be like, either we're shutting it down or...
But if you weren't, like, complicit in it, you wouldn't keep quiet.
Yeah, unless they knew they'd lose all their money. So still, yeah, they didn't want to lose their money.
Yeah.
And the only way to go
mean,
forward...
They were all pretty young at the height of their careers. You know,
So they're like, this is what you're doing, or you're losing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would have taken them a little while to convince them to do it, but it could have been done.
Mm-hmm.
If the record label's like, look, I mean, you're the biggest band on earth right now. If you give up, like, you're just gonna go nowhere.
Yeah.
If you keep going and keep your mouth shut, you're gonna be trillionaires, you know?
But you would, like, you know, kind of like Paul McCartney now is, like, big as fuck and doesn't have to tour, but tour because he wants to. You know, he might be like, hey, you know, I ain't the real, you know, the first Paul McCartney. I'm still good as fuck, you know, or something. I don't know.
But after doing it for that long, I would be scared to come out, because now you just gonna look like an asshole. Because then,
Yeah.
like, if he came out next year and he was like, guess what, you guys, I'm not the real Paul. Now, you've already said you wouldn't care, but wouldn't you be a little bit pissed?
Would anybody believe him, though?
That's true, too. They might just say, see now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying, too.
because he's
Man,
old
it's
now,
crazy.
so...
All right, what else you got?
All right, I got Miley Cyrus next. So there's kind of a couple of different things going on with Miley Cyrus. So kind of the thought is either she OD'd in 2010 or Disney killed her in 2010. So if it's OD, you know how that happened. If it's Disney, the thought is that they were so upset that she just started smoking, and, like, apparently she leaked nudes at some point in time, and, like, she was just being a bad girl, so they killed her. to like put somebody else in her.
See, I'm already gonna call bullshit because all of the Disney girls end up going nuts.
Yeah, and also the new one isn't any better.
But
So-
usually long after they're done working with Disney.
Yeah.
So, she's a bad girl. They murdered her. They dumped her body in the desert, and then they replaced her with her body double from Hannah Montana. And apparently she did have one, and apparently that person did take her place at a concert for like 30 seconds or something. I don't know if she had to pee or I don't know what was going on there. But at one point in time, the body double was at the concert, and people say that that is what made them think that that person could take over for her all the time.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of the thing with Miley Cyrus is that she is dead, and the body double from Hannah Montana is the new Miley.
And then, but so Disney's okay with the new Miley Cyrus because
Is she making money?
well, yeah.
But
They're okay.
they don't own her anymore, right? Like, was Disney, that was Hannah Montana, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, she did a lot of movies with them as well outside of Hannah Montana.
If you
I
signed
think
to
they
be her
only
body-
cared when she was Hannah Montana.
I bet if you signed to be her body double, you probably signed some contract that said you have to do whatever, whenever we can sue you.
But-
as soon as you say something, you're done.
At the same time, she may not work directly for Disney, but Disney owns everything now, so...
That's fucking true, too.
I mean, I don't know what she's actually... I know that she's, like, around, but I don't actually know what she does.
She does gross music and, like, doesn't wear
Gross
clothes a lot. Like, you know.
The last few things I saw about her, there was pictures
Wasn't
of her.
she on one of
I
the,
think
like,
she's, like-
singing judging shows?
I think she's cleaning up her act a
Is
little
she
bit
on
now.
The Voice or something?
I don't think... I don't think it was The Voice. I think it was another one. But maybe so.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because The Voice is... I don't know. Hannah Montana was a good show, though. Just putting that out there.
I don't know that I ever saw an episode of Hannah Montana, but I know that it was the blonde version of Miley Cyrus, and that Billy Ray Cyrus was also on that show, I believe.
Now, he's
Yeah.
the dad.
Yeah.
Because he is her
I-
dad.
Yeah, it was her dad.
I'm just thrilled about the fact that her popularity made him come out of retirement, relaunch his music career.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
Didn't he do that? Wasn't he responsible for that Old Town Road shit? Like,
No.
No, that's...
look, that was Lil Nas X.
And, what's the country people that's with him?
what did... Has he done something that's terrible like that, though? Like,
Hey, so Lil Nas X came out with that song, and then Billy Ray Cyrus got with him, and they collaborated and remade it.
Oh, is it him? I was thinking
So-
it was a completely different country
No.
band.
y'all had me thinking I was crazy.
No, and Billy Ray Cyrus actually was a pretty big advocate for that for the in Nashville. They were putting up all kind of signs and stuff like that because they were getting like the country music awards or something, and that fell into the country category, like country pop category,
Yeah.
which is all country now, anyways, pretty much. But whoever is in charge of that organization, they put up all the billboards and everything, and they were putting up big billboards with Billy Ray Cyrus, and they're like Old Town Road featuring Lil Nas X. And Billy Ray Cyrus came out and he's like, "No, I didn't write that song. He wrote that, and it was a whole thing because Lil Nas X is."
Yeah, I'd want to stay away from that shit. I didn't write that shit. Alright, so next up I've got Avril, and I know Avril's one that we have covered some in the past. But Avril Lavigne supposedly died after her first album, like right after that was released. And the theory is that she was replaced by somebody named Melissa Vandella, which may or may not be like an actual person. Like, nobody really knows who this person is, but there is that photo, like the photo shoot where she has Melissa on her hand. Now, I think that that's after everybody started saying this weird shit, and it was just like her, like, you know, fucking with people.
Yeah.
Well, she could have been feeding into it to help grow her popularity.
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I think. But people are taking there like she's really trying to say I'm Melissa. You know? But anyway, nobody really agrees on who this Melissa is either. Either she was Avril's best friend that just happened to look like her, or she was a body double hired by the record company who was just hired to be around Avril. And So nobody really knows who she is, and I think that this name is just like made up by somebody in Brazil. Like the whole feed came from somebody in Brazil who's just like, that's not the real Avril. And then like the whole kind of thing just spiraled, and people just started making shit up. So some people say that there are physical differences between 2003's Avril and the Avril that emerged in 2013. And one of the things is that they say Avril now is short, but the amount is like tiny. Like, I mean, it's like a fraction of an inch that they say is different. It's not like, one is 6 foot and one is 4 foot or anything like that. It's a very, very small amount, which probably could be accounted for how high her hair was at the time.
Also, what kind of shoes she was wearing in whatever picture. I mean,
right. So some people say that there are differences with her hair. Like new Avril, they say her hair is wavy. Well, you can make it wavy.
What runs thumbs down and
Biggest thing.
her ears?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was
Ears
waiting on
do
that.
not change shape ever.
Her hair's different. Her freckles are different. They say that Melissa, when she took over, she used darker lyrics, and that was with the Under the Skin album.
But that's because that's when everybody was emo. Like,
yeah.
They say that was supposed to be a hint that new Avril was living.
I don't like your group. That is so the happy and shit. Like, or is that before or after? I'm sorry.
That's after.
Apparently, she died right after Complicated, right?
Right after the first.
Really? I thought it was later. Shit.
So,
And you've also got to take into consideration that she was 14.
Yeah, she had just graduated
young.
high school and was 17,
But-
and they got her
Do y'all remember what y'all looked like when y'all were 14?
Also,
I was a lot thinner.
nothing like I do now.
on that note, though, how many bands have changed their style completely between album cycles?
Because of what's going on. And,
Oh, her
you know,
music,
I
her
don't even know
music
that it
got
changed
darker.
completely. Like I didn't see that. I mean,
It did, but it went
changed
with the times.
Right.
No different from Blink-182 and I Miss You.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, it was nothing like that.
But Under the Skin was supposed to be a hint that new Avril was living under the skin of old Avril. Beyonce. There's all kinds of shit.
She's a lizard person, isn't she?
Yeah. That's the thing with Beyonce. There is all kinds of shit about Beyonce. So, some people say that in 2000, did they say the Beehive? Is that, or the Bayhive? Her people. They're the...
Oh, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't never...
Whatever they are.
I guess it's the Beehive.
Yeah.
But her name's not
But
Bee.
it's-
Yeah, it is. Beyonce.
But it's like
Beehive.
Beyhive. Like... Anyway,
I just call them the shitty music likers.
those people, her
I'm
minions.
with Ryan on that one.
I like Beyonce. I don't care.
Beyonce's minions apparently harvested stem cells from her body in 2000. Now,
Like without her knowing.
even that is
How do you do that?
up for discussion because some say that she was dead. Like she died.
Oh, she died and they came in
Adults
and took
don't
her.
make stem cells. They get them from fetuses. You can't. That's what makes people. You can't get stem cells from adults.
Was she pregnant?
One thing is she was dead when the stem cells were harvested and they made the clone. They made a clone to replace her. Another thing is that she was alive and they just made multiple Beyoncés.
Like an army of Beyonce.
So there are multiple
That's
Beyonces.
not very likely.
And so some people say that Sasha Fierce is one of her clones, because that's one of her things. And some say that she made one of her clones actually carry Blue Ivy, and she just wore like a fake baby bump. So she could still go out and do everything, because she kind of did, But the clone was carrying the actual baby. And some say that she is a reptilian. So
That's the one that I like.
yeah. So the reptilian is a thing. There's a fairly recent thing that she is an Italian that was is like a long-standing member of the Illuminati.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Like she's not even a black woman. Like she's actually an Italian woman.
I haven't seen that theory, but I have seen the theory of her being a member of the Illuminati.
Well, yeah, but it's like they've even given her a name and everything. It's like her whole family dates back through the, like given like a whole history and shit.
And that came out recently?
Yeah.
That's people having too much time on their hands.
Yeah. So, this happened, like, just recently because this was new shit.
I'd actually not heard that.
Well, the thing I've heard about the Illuminati is because a lot of the choreography and her dances, they're doing the
Eye
fucking
of Providence.
making the triangle for there.
Yeah, but
Which I mean,
but apparently she's an Italian woman, and I didn't even write down the name. But they even like that Italian woman exists. Like they have a picture of her, and it's not Beyonce, but they're like, look at the similarities.
How similar is it? Like,
Not
you
that.
saw it? Because I've never heard this. I've never seen.
I mean, not that similar.
We should reach out to that lady and have her on the show.
We should. Yeah. All right, I will go back.
We're like, how do you feel about being the new Beyonce?
Yeah. Is it fun? Is the Bayhive taking care of you, or the Beehive, or whatever they are?
do you get to share in on that $1 billion that Beyonce and Jay-Z are
Yeah, I
worth?
wonder if she shares her money with her clones, or if it's just like,
Well, I'll
clones,
tell you
fetch
what.
me some shit.
If I was a clone, all the clones need to rise up. They better be getting paid. If you're a
I feel
clone
like
of
that might be
somebody,
a Star Wars thing. Is it Rise of the Clones? Is there?
I feel like maybe. But if I'm a clone of a millionaire, I should also be a fucking millionaire.
See, you're thinking way too logical.
That's true.
If you were a clone,
Beyonce's not a
You would
millionaire,
be-
though.
probably
Is she a
genetically exact,
Gross.
except for you would be super, not gullible, suggestible.
Dumb.
They would take the genes that make you independent and not do what everybody says
It's like a warm-blooded
and change
robot.
it. Yeah. Or a lizard person.
Lizard people.
And when I say lizard people, I don't mean actual fucking lizards that change it. That's
do.
not what I mean.
I think that's
what I mean when
that's
I
the
say
theory about Beyonce is that she's an actual lizard. Like,
There's
she,
videos of her eyes.
yeah, if she doesn't look good, they're like it's her skin suit. It's not. It's
malfunction.
It's malfunctioning. She's having wardrobe.
Well, now I'm
malfunctions
super
with her
interested
skin.
in what you think lizard people are. If they're not real lizard people.
I feel like this needs to morph into an entirely different episode, though. So we might need to save this gold for later.
We'll save this for. We still got to redo reptilians.
We do. That was another one where we got too drunk. It's a running theme.
We had
around
too
it.
many people.
Yeah, we did.
There were too many people for
that was
that
the
one.
thing. Britney Spears. So, the thing with Britney Spears, and this kind of builds on the Paul McCartney because it's like more. So, the thing with Britney Spears is that she died in a car accident in 1999 when she was dating Justin Timberlake, who was also in the car.
But he didn't die, or did he also die?
No, he lived, got burnt real bad, is in a coma to this day.
Oh, so he's out there too.
So they're both clones. So Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake were both cloned.
I wonder if that fire burnt the ramen noodles on his head.
How quickly can you make a fucking clone? I was under the impression now if I wanted to clone somebody that you clone it and then they're a baby and they have to grow, right?
Exactly.
Like you can't just
It doesn't pop out a
25-year-old
pop star. Doesn't that doesn't.
So you think we have the technology to clone a whole person, but not to accelerate the aging process?
No, that's not a thing.
That's
I
not
don't know.
a thing.
Just that's not how my mind works.
The thing with Britney, like people say that the number of clones kind of explain her erratic behavior because she's always doing some wild shit. It's like every time she does something wild, it's a different clone.
She might be the only one I think is not a clone.
Like,
Because if you see right now with her conservatorship and all that crazy shit,
Did
her
y'all
dad
watch
has
her?
all
I
of
did.
that cover.
And there's actually a whole new thing with her being a clone because apparently there's a brand new Instagram photo that apparently she took and everybody's like, that's not fucking Britney.
What else you got?
I got Eminem. So, apparently Eminem died in 2006.
Correct.
Well, this is another where
Stan
he was.
killed him.
This is another where he was either. So he was either killed by somebody at his record label, or he was killed by the Illuminati. So, if somebody at his record label killed him, the thought is they wanted to replace him with somebody that they could control because they couldn't control Eminem.
What year was it again?
2006.
Okay, all right.
If it was the Illuminati, it's because he wouldn't hang out with the Illuminati. Like, he wouldn't work for the Illuminati. So he was,
He's too good for
yeah,
him.
so he was just in the Illuminati. There's a 2019 rap song called Cloned Rappers by Tom McDonald, which says
Fuck Tom McDonald.
Well,
I've never even heard of that.
I have. I don't like him.
Well, I'm not saying I do. I have no idea who it is. But apparently he has this Cloned Rappers song that says the Illuminati took bone samples to clone rappers, and that song mentions Eminem. So, which kind of fed into this.
How would he be privy to this knowledge?
Right, but it just kind of fed the fire, you
Yeah.
know, where people were already saying that he was a clone or whatever. In an interview in 2017, Eminem said that he looked up to Jay-Z, which also started some shit, because apparently Jay-Z is the face of the Illuminati. So they're like, at that point in time, they knew he was different, because old Eminem would have been very anti-Illuminati, even though I don't know that that's ever something that was said.
I feel like Eminem would be fascinated with the Illuminati.
New Eminem is like, hell, Illuminati. This, even though all he said was, what did he say? It just said that he looked up to Jay-Z. But since Jay-Z is the fan, yeah.
But, I mean, that doesn't mean jack shit.
It doesn't.
Jay-Z...
No, I'm not giving credence to anything that I'm saying here right now. I'm just saying that these are what other people are saying.
If you think about it, like, Eminem came from nothing and made himself a very successful career. He's got a lot of money. Anything he could ever want. He's made careers for other people.
Right.
Jay-Z did the same thing. Came from the streets, and now he's the richest hip-hop star on the planet right now. He's worth over $1 billion.
There's also some people that think Eminem is an android. And the reason for that is, in 2013, he glitched on BBC. So, and what they're calling this glitch is, apparently, he was being interviewed, and he just paused for a really long time. And they don't say how long, it's just this really long time. And
What was the question, did they say?
no, but then he said, he looked at the audience and said, "Stay out of my head."
Who can say for sure?
And then turned back to the interview and continued the interview.
But at the same time...
But that was when he glitched, and that's why he's an android.
At the same time, around those years is when
What
he
did you ask
was
Sorry.
really,
don't
like,
know.
going through his drug battle.
What else you got?
Katy Perry. So, apparently, and
That's going to be
everybody...
a long-ass episode. We're 40 minutes in on Kelly's topic.
I'm sorry. I got Katy
It's
Perry.
because we keep stopping you.
I got Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, and that's all I got. All right.
Skip Katy Perry because she sucks. Just
All right. Taylor Swift.
Things?
Taylor Swift sucks, too. What are you talking about?
Katy Perry. Katy Perry is actually JonBenet Ramsey. Everybody.
oh my god, I saw that.
Yeah.
I've
so-
never seen that.
Are you? Oh, well, then I'm glad that we didn't skip it.
I saw that.
I still kind of wish you skipped it.
All right. So the thing with this is that they say that the murder of JonBenet was actually a hoax orchestrated by the Illuminati to make Katy Perry a star. So, conspiracy theorists say that the parents of JonBenet and the parents of Katy Perry look very, very similar. So, they think it's just that nobody died.
But,
Why would they pick John Bonet, though? I mean...
and one doesn't have it. Like, I didn't wake up and see the news about John Bonet and go, man, you know what would really make me feel better? A
Okay.
pop song.
Right.
Like,
Right. It makes no motherfucking sense. It absolutely doesn't. And also, Katy Perry was 12 at the time that this happened, and John Bonet was apparently 6.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Was she?
Well,
was she?
well, that's the thing. They're like, no, she wasn't really 6. That was part of the hoax. She was actually 12. And the whole thing was just like a one-for-one swap where Jean Bonet became Katy Perry. So that
I think if
I
you
need
were
to
gonna
talk to whoever started this.
So that
because
multiple
it's the
years down the
dumbest
road,
shit I've ever heard.
she might become
Birds aren't real. The dumbest.
This is dumber than that.
she might become a pop star. So, and that was all orchestrated by the Illuminati.
I'm not on board with this.
Yeah,
one.
this is dumb as fuck.
Oh, Oh, this is where the eyebrows come in, though, which I almost mentioned in the Avril thing, but it's not the Avril thing. There is a conspiracy theorist that is all on board that says that absolutely they're the same person because they have identical eyebrows. Well, I actually don't know if that's true, but he says the eyebrows don't change, which is
That's horse shit.
Women change their eyebrows all the motherfucking time. I've had mine like plucked and prodded and all kinds of shit.
Is it specifically the hairs though, or
It's the hairs that you pluck out?
No,
no?
the bone here.
The bone structure doesn't change there.
But I don't know that you could ever look at somebody and be like, that bone structure is unique. Like, I mean, if I was just as well as I know Kara, if all I saw was the bone structure of her eyebrows without any eyes or any eyebrows or anything else, I would not be able to say that's Kara.
I know those brow bones anywhere.
Right. So how is this like random mofo that's making YouTube videos making that determination that it's because of the eyebrows? That is absolute proof. That's the thing. It's like, it's the eyebrows.
They are nuts, man.
I have seen people go on Maury every day and say he's the father because they have the same eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So similar facial features.
But the lie detector test determined
Yeah.
that was a lie.
That was a lie.
Similar facial features is not enough for me to believe that one.
I am on board there as well. Wait, I still got Taylor Swift. Do you want to hear about Taylor Swift?
Not really.
Yes.
He doesn't like Taylor's. I love Taylor Swift. I need to hear this.
No, nobody likes Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor Swift.
She does.
She's a
It's kind of
psychopath.
embarrassing.
I'll start singing Taylor Swift.
She's a
right
fucking psychopath.
She is a psychopath.
now. Yeah, that's why I love her.
She's also a clone of the renowned Satanist Zena LaVey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Zena LaVey was daughter of Anton LaVey. And they do look a lot alike.
They do.
Really, really do.
Well, the other one is like dollar store version. Like if they were action figures, the other one is the dollar store version.
Like, this one I can kind of see where people might look and be like, hey, are those people related? You know? I don't think, clone, but, I could definitely see where Taylor Swift looks like a young Zena LaVey. So, Zena LaVey was spokesperson of the Church of Satan between 1985 and 1990. She resigned and became a Tantric Buddhist in 1990, whereas Taylor Swift was born in 1989. And some people say that is significant. They say that right before Zena LaVey left the Church of Satan to go conquer the Buddhists or whatever, she had all these clones made. Like, more than Taylor, but, So Taylor's one of these clones that's supposed to carry on her work in the Church of Satan. And
I'm looking at pictures. I don't.
you don't see it! Trying to put that together.
The jawline is different.
What about the eyebrows?
Because that's the all-important part.
Yeah.
So anyway, apparently Taylor is supposed to carry on the work of Zena LaVey.
And she does that via Teardrops on My Guitar. And
But also, Zena LaVey is still alive, right? And she's hanging out and being like a Buddhist.
does she have an Instagram?
I have no idea, but she's an artist and musician, so probably.
Oh, yeah.
But she's in Berlin, not bothering anybody.
I wonder if she even knows that she's
I'm
part
sure
of
she
a
probably does.
part of a thing.
That might be why she's in Berlin.
All right, you want me to go?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Go ahead.
All right, I picked Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. I did that mostly because you had never seen it, and I thought it was fucking hilarious that you'd never seen it. But okay, so this movie is set in 2000. It was released in 2006. It's set in the 1990s, and it's Jack Black and Kyle Gass who make up Tenacious D, and that is a real band. Like they have, you can download their shit on iTunes or whatever. But they're going to search for a guitar pick that was made by Satan, and it turns all of its users into rock.
It was not
legends.
made by
It was not
Satan.
made by Satan. It was chipped off of Satan while Satan was trying to take back the shit the Ute player had or whatever.
It was made from Satan's
It was
tooth.
made out of Satan.
Out of
whatever.
Like, he didn't give it to him to be nice. Like, they stole the shit. And it's
Well,
not,
no, they were going to steal it. That's the whole thing. They were going to get it.
A sorcerer summoned Satan, and then he turned out to be
I just
super,
didn't want
super
anybody to
evil.
think that, like, he was just like, hey, here you go, have this pick, be awesome.
No,
like, he was like, no, I want my shit. They were like,
It's a guitar
steal that
pick
shit.
that
Yeah.
was made out of Satan.
Yeah.
It was not.
To
It was.
make it
It was not to despair.
So a quick recap: a sorcerer summoned Satan, and then all of a sudden he realized, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." A blacksmith heard him crying for help and screaming, ran over, fucking threw a hammer or whatever tool he had, and cracked Satan's tooth off. And then Satan went back to hell, and they did some kind of spell that said he could never come back until he was complete, or he wouldn't have all his powers until he was complete again. And then that sorcerer turned that tooth into a guitar pick and gave it to the blacksmith.
And then anybody after that who used it became super big rock legends. And y'all just watched it, I don't remember, but it doesn't go through a few where it's showing.
Like Eddie Van Halen is one.
Yeah.
and,
Led Zeppelin was in there.
I just cut my fucking foot open on something down here.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
Should take your shoes off in the carpet. I drop shit in here all the time.
God damn.
Yeah.
But this is the top of my toe, so I don't even know how I did it. But
Maybe on the chair or something.
Yeah, there might be screws and all kinds of shit in here. I mean, this is the main
do I need to
thing.
go get a tetanus shot?
Possibly.
Holy shit. All right. But anyway, so...
Have you had one in the last 10 years?
I have never had a tetanus shot
Right.
unless it was one of those that was required, but
It was
I've
not.
been out of school for a very long time.
It's not a requirement. It's a...
Well,
You had surgery. They would have given you one when you had surgery, but when was that?
about 7 years ago.
You're still good then.
I good?
It's,
They always give you a tetanus shot when you have surgery?
it's good for
Why?
10,
Because they use
10
rusted
years.
ass
No.
shit?
I just think it's like a thing that they always do just to make sure that you're...
That's
In case they leave tools in you accidentally and they become rusty.
It's gross. Which happens all the time. More often than I would like to think
All right,
about.
go
Okay,
on
anyway,
with
so Tenacious D, blah, blah, blah. It's a guitar pick, and if you use it, it will make you just a super big rock legend. Real quick, shout out to the Myths Behind Legends podcast. They actually sent us guitar picks with their logo on it.
Oh!
It's fucking awesome. We kept them because you don't play guitar, right? So I was like, we're keeping these. So those are ours.
I mean, how many did you get?
2.
Well, that's not fair.
Do you want one? I'll bring you one.
You don't play guitar either.
But Ryan does, so
So Ryan has 2 and then nobody else has one.
That's not...
whatever.
That's an
But
unequal
Thank
distribution.
y'all for those guitar picks. I'm going to pretend like those are what are going to turn us famous and keep us alive forever. So, thinking about that, I was like, I wonder what other sorts of musical instruments, have weirdo powers. And so that's what mine is. So, my first one is the ocarina. Y'all will know that if you ever played Zelda because there's Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time or whatever. That is a small handheld wind instrument that originated in 10,000 BC, usually made out of bone or clay, but then later, metal or wood. Bone or clay. Shut up. Made out of bone or clay. But then later, there'd be like wood and, what the fuck ever. Some of them had special shapes. They'd be shaped like animals, gods, or monsters. They have been used in rituals of Mesoamerican cultures. I don't know what that means. That's like Indian people.
Like Mexican American, I think. Like Middle American.
But supposedly the sounds from this ocarina can charm birds and animals. It can help them to speak to gods. And it can put humans in a trance-like state. Next we have the didgeridoo.
I love the didgeridoo.
So, the didgeridoo was made by the Aboriginal people of Australia over 1,500 years ago. Y'all know what a didgeridoo is?
Yes.
It's the long... That's not the same thing that the Ricola people use, though, right?
That's a different thing, yeah.
What is that thing?
That's
I have no idea
I'll
what
look it
that's
up.
called.
Well, a didgeridoo is just straight, and it's long. It says skilled players can play a note for over 45 minutes in a didgeridoo, if you know what you're doing. Okay, but so the didgeridoo is said to embody the voice of the earth itself, and it represents a connection to nature and the spiritual realm. And the Aboriginal people use it in a lot of their dances, or, I don't know the word for it, whatever. My last one is the death whistle. This is the greatest thing ever. It's from Aztec culture, used for a variety of frightening purposes. It's usually carved in the shape of a skull, and the shape represented the emotions that it's meant to instill in its listeners. So it's like either shock or
It's fucking.
scary faces. It makes a screaming sound. That's just what it does.
But it's like a
screaming.
loud, terrifying scream.
But Aztec priests used these death whistles during human sacrifices, and supposedly the sound helped guide the soul to the afterlife. But like, fuck that, right? So you have to be sacrificed, which is probably terrifying. Just
And then
all
you're
by
hearing this like
itself.
terrifying.
So it makes me wonder, does it make them run the opposite direction? You know what I mean? Like, let me play a screaming
They hold
sound
them
and
down.
they'll run that
No,
way.
they hold them down while they cut them open and take their heart out while they're alive.
And then,
Yeah.
but the sound guides them
The
in the
soul.
afterlife.
Oh,
Pay
okay,
attention.
I got you. I thought we.
Because if I was dead, if I just got brutally murdered, and then
The last thing you heard is this like.
now I'm hearing this scream, and do I follow the scream?
I would not ever follow the scream of a
Maybe it makes them
Aztec
run
death
the
whistle.
other way. I don't know, but supposedly it helps guide the soul to the afterlife. That's all I got. I thought I'm on short.
Or maybe it's like they're sacrificing terrible people and they're like chasing them to their hell or whatever.
I took notes for this topic.
Y'all write that shit down. That's
Hell
good.
yeah. Doesn't happen at
I've
all.
actually got notes.
I ain't gonna have notes for the rest of the year.
This is it.
He did
This
his
is all I
one.
get.
I took notes. My music topic is the 27 Club, which I'm sure most people know about. It's basically all the famous people, mostly musicians, but also athletes and actors who have died at 27 years old. Most of them are suicide, homicide, or overdose. Very few of them are like car accidents or anything like that.
Do they count the ones that are car
Yeah,
accidents?
they
James
count.
Dean.
Oh, okay.
They count all of them. So in 2011, the British Medical Journal, they did research and they looked into it, and they concluded that young musicians had higher death rates than the rest of the young adult population on Earth. So people that were in the music industry die astronomically higher rates. Some notable people on the list are Brian Jones, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Anton Yelchin, Amy Winehouse.
Oh, God, y'all. I forgot about Anton Yelchin.
And you know what he told me about that? I was like, he was 27 because I thought he was younger. Like, he was a baby in my mind. Like,
That's going to make me cry. Keep
But
going.
Amy Winehouse and Robert Johnson, Robert Johnson is the first member on the list since we've been keeping track of it. He was a blues musician from like the Mississippi Delta back in the day.
Remember the movie we watched with Karate Kid?
Ralph Macchio.
He's
Yeah.
trying to find the lost songs of Robert Johnson. That
Oh,
whole movie
yeah.
is about that. He met the
Crossroads
devil
is the
at
name
the
of that movie.
crossroads. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that one.
So Robert Johnson died in 1938. He was a guy who most people didn't think he really had a whole lot of talent, but he was a musician or whatever. He kind of made the rounds at the little blues houses and, juke joints or whatever they had going on down there. Back when blues was big, and I'm sure it still is big in the Delta, but
that's when it first started. That was
Yeah.
it's huge. Yeah.
yeah, that's where blues came from, at least in American history. So there are a lot of legends that say that Robert Johnson sold his soul to Satan at the crossroads in return for popularity and fame. And he ended up being one of the biggest blues artists in recorded history. I mean, he's huge.
He was only gone for a year. Shitty to amazing after like a year.
Yeah. He just like out of nowhere had all this talent and all this fame. Everybody knew who he was, wanted him to come play at their place. So that led a lot of people to start thinking there's more to this 27 Club thing. There's more supernatural powers. Maybe a lot of these people were involved in, giving their soul up to Satan for fame and fortune. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of them died at a really young age. And the coincidence that all of them died when they were 27 years old. A lot of people believe that Kurt Cobain actually planned his death to happen while he was 27 years old so he could join the 27 Club. Also, a member of, what was Courtney Love's band?
Oh, yeah.
One of the chicks from her band.
Beth.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
She died when she was
I
27.
forgot about that shit.
Right after Kurt Cobain, not long after.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy Winehouse always, like, expressed a lot of fear of dying when she was 27. She didn't want to be in the 27 Club. She was afraid of it, and unfortunately, she ended up dying at 27. But yeah, that's all I have for the
All I really knew about her was that Rehab song, you know, so it wasn't that I was a fan or anything, but when I watched it, I was like, that's fucking sad as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm being silenced by my own people.
Kelly, we talked about yours. So what y'all think about Death Whistle? I'm on board with Matt making us some Death Whistle. See what happens.
Yeah, I will make death whistles. One more thing about the 27 Club, though. I sent all you guys the link a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks
Oh, the
ago.
Doors
now.
guy, too.
The what?
He said him. Jim
Oh, I
Morrison.
didn't hear you saying. Sorry, yeah, he died, too, yeah.
So there's a group of computer programmers or, you know, fans, whatever they are. They wrote a computer AI algorithm, and they have a website called The Lost Tapes of the 27 Club. And all they did was feed endless loops of music from notable people from the 27 Club into the AI and had it write new songs.
Oh, I remember
And
when you
it
sent that.
it
Yeah.
sounds, a lot of them sound just like something that artist would have wrote.
Yeah. That's
So
neat.
it created all new songs, and they did Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. But they have a whole thing to where they raise money to donate to suicide awareness and things like that.
Send me that link again, and I'll put it in our notes
Yeah.
Yeah,
or whatever.
because that was pretty neat. And, like, kind of my thoughts on the 27 Club. Like, it doesn't surprise me that young musicians, like, are a
More
higher...
prone to, yeah.
Because they have a shit ton of money. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're,
Drugs is a big thing.
you know, fast cars and, you know, all of that shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me.
All right, well, that's the end. Bye, y'all.
They're getting